Hi, everybody. Erica here from In the Company of Cards. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Um, Before I start, I just want to thank everybody who came over to Substack and and as a paid subscriber, watched my live videos that I did where I answered people's questions. It was a lot of fun. Substack's obviously a smaller community. Um, than YouTube in a lot of ways. So I felt like it would be a good thing to go over there, offer readings for paid subscribers, and that the group would be smaller so that people would, stand a better chance of actually getting a reading. And that's pretty much how it worked. So thank you for coming over. If you're not over there, it's where you can find me on Tuesdays. Just look for my name or look for In the Company of Cards. Look for Erica Robinson Lenormand. You'll find me over there on Tuesdays. So Mondays are the days that I remind you of what offerings I have that I put out into the world. So for those of you who are new, I use Lenormand, or Lenormand or Lenormand, which is a 36 card divination system. Uh, Comes to us from the late 1700s, early 1800s. And I use it to predict events and to do commentary on politics, culture, race. Sometimes I will do personal readings here. Um, you can contract with me for a personal reading too. If you just click the button where all of my links are, one of the links for that will be there. I wrote a book so that you too could learn how to read Lenormand. It's called The Language of Lenormand. And there's also a French version, which is called Découvrez le langage secret du Lenormand. So these are available, as they say, wherever books are sold. I have a course that is online. It's pre-taped, right? So I did a bunch of videos and put them up, and you can learn at your own pace. And that's there for purchase as well. Again, it's under the links in any of my videos. I have a deck. This is the deck that I actually use. It's my own, and it's published by La Panthère Studio. They have this size, and then there's a cute little mini size if you prefer that. Um, so again, the link for that is also there. And what else? I guess that's it. I have no voice because I did a couple of videos yesterday, but here I am anyway. And there's just a couple of things that I wanted to look at quickly. So today, the felon got bad news about his 1.8 billion slush fund. So if you remember, um, he tried to sue himself, right? Sue the IRS, which is us, suing his own IRS as compensation. The judge, who is Judge Kathleen Williams from Florida, said that is just complete BS. It is self-dealing. It is grand theft. She didn't use those words, but pretty much that's what her judgment came down to. And she's also referring the lawyers who brought the case for discipline to the for their in front of their respective bar associations because you know how is it not just this cynical attempt to steal from the public? So that is done and dusted. January 6th, participants will not get paid any part of that 1.8 billion, and it's dead in the water. So of course he's got to be disappointed by that. Um, but I wanted to look. She was particular in who she mentioned. She mentioned Todd Blanch as somebody who, of course, this is the Attorney General. He was also the felon's personal lawyer, and he was instrumental in orchestrating this, cynical money grab. And she mentioned him by name. as being one of the responsible parties. And he, of course, is meant to be up for confirmation hearings Wednesday and Thursday of this week. Uh, and I guess what I want to know, what did I write down? Um, I guess I wanted to know what effect that ruling by Judge Kathleen Williams will have on any of the Republican senators who might have been inclined to cast their vote for Todd Blanch's confirmation as Attorney General. So I just want to look at it one more time today before the hearings on Wednesday and Thursday. Um, in light of this new ruling. It's pretty scathing. Um, so I'm going to ask again the question that I looked at yesterday. Will Todd Blanch be confirmed as Attorney General? Okay, and we'll use the younger man for Todd Blanch since he's, not old. So we're looking for the younger man that will stand for Todd Blanch. And in light of today's decision by Judge Kathleen Williams of Florida, just totally nuking the felon's $1.8 billion money grab, which I'm pretty sure Todd Blanch orchestrated. How will he fare in the committee? McConnell won't be there, Graham won't be there, both for obvious reasons. Um, so what will happen? Oh, look at that. Okay. We have the woman, we have Clover, we have Todd Blanch, the scythe, and the clouds. This can be both the judge and the fact that the e-files never go away. And Todd Blanch is a major part of trying to keep those from us. So there you go. Um, Clover, I think the hearing, well, they tend to be long because people like to pontificate and bloviate, right? And grandstand. But I feel like Clover is not saying that the hearing will be short hearings because it's 2 days. I don't think they'll be short, but I think that we will be lucky. Here's Todd Blanch, and look, even if you're new to Lenormand, this is like he gets the axe, and because doubt has been cast on him, too much doubt to confirm him as the felon's permanent attorney general. So I think today was a real body blow for the felon and for Todd Blanch's nomination, permanent nomination as Attorney General. So good. I was hoping that's what we would see. I don't always get what I hope for, but today I did, so that's good. Uh, Now, one of the things that the felon had been dangling in front of MAGA was the fact that, according to him, people who had participated in the insurrection on January 6th and then were, incarcerated or fined or whatever their punishment was, that they would be some of the recipients as restitution of this 1.8 billion. Now they're not getting it. And so I would like to know um, how MAGA is feeling about the felon. It's pretty clear that MAGA is splintering. There will always be the diehards. There really will. And they're in the cult. But I just want to know, since they're not getting paid, will they still stay loyal? So I guess I just want to look at MAGA. Um, hmm. Let's look at, let's use, we'll use the birds for MAGA. the birds is a card for talking and for conversation, but I'm thinking of it as more, um, the group of believers. So how are they feeling now that things seem to be going sideways in so many ways? How is MAGA feeling? Looking for the birds that will stand for MAGA. Okay. We have the scales. We have the felon who popped up. We have MAGA. We have the stars, and we have the young man. So I will say that they are like everyone, they are weighing their support for him. They are doing that cost benefit analysis and could be coming up with a different conclusion than previously. They're in the middle. I think they are looking to the future. I think they are looking for other leaders. It's not Vance, um, but they are looking to see who their next leader is. That's what I think. I think they're looking away from the felon. Now, I pulled some cards on the birds card. This stands for MAGA. And we have the garden, the child, and the young woman. I think that, one of the things that's going on with MAGA is that they know how they're viewed by the larger public, which is that they were naive and they were duped. Of course, not all of them were naive. Fewer of them were naive than want us to think that they are naive. In fact, they may even play the naive card. I can see that. I can see them saying, I didn't know. I thought he was going to end the forever wars and that prices were going to go down. That's the reason I voted for him. But that's not why they voted for him. I think they will play the naive card in in the hopes of, wanting to be welcomed back into the fold of humanity and common sense. We have this young woman again. This feels like the E-Files all over again. There is definitely more to come on that. So yeah, I think that this decision is just another nail in another coffin of MAGA. Um, they are trying to find ways of spinning their previous support of him, so that they don't look so bad in the eyes of other people. But, you know, you make decisions and you have to pay the consequences, right? Okay. Uh, I want to look at the McConnell situation. I've heard all of the rigmarole about the photograph. I read the very long statement that was supposedly written by Graham, I mean, is that what I mean? McConnell, sorry, Graham didn't write it. McConnell. I want to look at the McConnell situation. Obviously, he did not write that statement. That statement, if you read Stacey Patton over on Substack, she's terrific, Dr. Patton, and she breaks it down, all of the components of that speech and what each component was attempting to convince the readers of. So anyway, that was a staff put together thing. The photograph, there's been all kinds of speculation about whether it's fake, whether it's real. Da, 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 da. I'm going to let everybody make their own decisions on that. What I want to do is just ask the question, um, what's going on with Mitch McConnell right now? That's all I want to know. What's going on with Mitch? We know we live in the AI era, but it's also true. I saw this. This was an article by Dean Blundell, another Substack person. He made a very good case that we we don't want to necessarily jump to the conclusion that everything is AI, uh, and that there are many levels of fakery. I guess I'll say many levels at which the public can be fooled. It's not either this or that always. And so we have to be a little bit better at our critical thinking than a lot of people seem to be of late. So I'll just say that much. But I'm just going to ask the cards. What's up with Mitch? What's up with Mitch right now? He will not be there for the confirmation hearing of Todd Blanch, nor can he vote by proxy. So that's not going to be a thing. Uh, Nor, of course, is Graham. And this will be problematic for that confirmation because now the felon's down 2 votes, which he can ill afford. But anyway, what is going on with McConnell? Because it's not so much what we're told, it's what we're not being told that people should be concerned about. Like, okay, you're not dead? Check. Uh, you're not in a coma? Okay, check. Well, what are you? Well, what happened? What was that? What's going on? Where have you been? How are the people of Kentucky being served? Right? It's what we're not being told that you need to pay attention to. All right, so I'm going to use the older man. This time it won't be for the felon. This will stand for McConnell. And I want to know what's up with him. Hey, popped right up. So, he was sitting up with that plaid shirt, jeans, not tethered to any machines that we could see. His hand on yesterday's paper. Uh, okay. So what's going on for real? All right, we have the dog, the scales, McConnell, the lily, and the snake. And then I pulled a bunch of cards. So I just want to say that, at this point, he has handlers who are not doing a very good job, I have to say, and are trying to. I feel like they're trying to buy time. The longer they delay saying, you know, he's in a coma or he's passed away, or the more time they think that they're buying the Republicans and the felon. So it feels like they're trying to buy time because here he is, Mitch McConnell. Because I'm not going to give a diagnosis except to say that age and infirmity have caught up with him in a big, 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 big way. The lily is not just a card for an old man. It can be the card for an old man who's got some issues, and he definitely has issues. They're trying to buy time, his advisors. And again, these advisors, they're not doing a good job. So I pulled some cards for McConnell, and I got the anchor, I got Clover, and I got Fox. So here he is, weighed down by his own biology, right? Just the vicissitudes of time and age and infirmity have weighed him down. But his handlers are trying to be sneaky and too clever by half, and trying to put a happy face on things. It's a short-term solution to a problem that will only end one way. But, they think they're clever. So here he is, a doddering, dithering, old, infirm man. That's not going to end anytime soon. That is his current and future state. But, he has a vote in the Senate, and they're thinking about that. What are they going to do? What are they going to do when they lose that vote? He's not thinking that. They're thinking that. It's definitely a very much Weekend at Bernie's kind of propping up situation that they're doing just to buy time. Uh, we have this snake at the end, and the clarifiers are the moon, the whip, and the mice. So this is a problem. And this is sort of, remember, I always say this is the card for identity, both your own self-image and also your reputation out in the world. And of course, his reputation at this point, people are like arguing about it, right? Is he alive? Is he dead? Is his mind still there? Is he being propped up? Well, what's going on? So there's a lot of back and forth about that, about who he is and who he has become. But I mean, he's really, really, really unwell. I don't think he's all the way you know what, but I think he's on the way to being all the way you know what. In other words, I'd be like, Lindsay should save him a chair uh, at the barbecue. And I also think that his handlers and advisors are really scared about um, the ramifications of his being gone from the scene. So I feel like they're just trying to buy time. They're trying to blow smoke. That statement was way too long. And if it were really him, I mean, couldn't they just have set up a room in the hospital where a few trusted reporters could have interviewed him and heard his answers? Oh, they couldn't do that. They didn't do that. Yeah, they didn't do it because he's not capable of that. So, as Leola would say, my mother, in the fullness of time, we will learn all. But he is not, he will not ever be ready for prime time again, according to the cards. So we've got Lindsey Graham down. I'm not going to deal with all of the sordid details that are emerging about him. I will say that, the non-disclosure agreements that people signed are now null and void, which means that people with whom he engaged, however he engaged Graham, are free now to say their piece and be public. So I don't really need to know all of that. I know that his sister, he has a younger sister, and to his credit, when their parents died, The sister was 13. I think he was maybe 18, 20, but he became her guardian and raised her. And she has been named as uh, to serve out the rest of Graham's term. The term would have been up in January. Of course, he was also going to be up for re-election in January. I'm sure that the sister is just a placeholder, right? She won't be a candidate or anything. That remains to be seen, but I do think that Annie Andrews, the Democrat, will win, which will be huge for Democrats to win in South Carolina. So, stay tuned for that. Um, but uh, of course, she is her brother's sister, so she will vote the way that he would have had her vote, the way he would want her to vote. But I don't think that she will be um, up to speed on things in time, for example, to stand in for Graham in the hearing for the confirmation hearing for Todd Blanch. So I don't think that's a vote. So again, they are still down votes. But anyway, what I wanted to look at, just because I'm curious, is I want to look at how the felon is feeling in the midst of all of this loss, both legal and political slash personal. I've heard some of the things that he's had to say today about Graham and yesterday about Graham. And I mean, he doesn't have a human bone in his body, I don't think, the felon. Um, he only sees people in respect to how they are towards him. So if you've heard any of the things that he's talked about, it's always about him. So, is he broken up, devastated, crying over Lindsey Graham's passing? No. Is he mad about it? Probably. Um, what I really want to know is, you know, I always say that, a cornered rat is at their most dangerous because they're cornered, and it's either you or them, and that's when they're going to bare their fangs and be their most dangerous. And I'm curious about the felon, um, whether he's feeling like a cornered rat and therefore going to try to do more to bare his fangs, or whether it's starting to dawn on him that, I mean, all is all but lost for him. I don't want to plant any ideas with the cards. I just want to know, in the midst of all of this, this is July. Um, Astrologically, it was supposed to be a hairy month for him. It's already been pretty eventful for all of us. We're halfway through. I guess I want to see how is he doing at this point in the month. I know I did a month overview for him, so you can look at that video. I used tarot as well as Lenormand, but I just want to take a mid-month look. Uh, I was looking over there. I was thinking about pulling my tarot deck out, but I'll just leave it to Lenormand. Okay, we're using the older man. That's the felon, and I want to know how he's doing with all of this, all of this bad news that he's been getting. So here he is. So we have the bouquet, we have the star, we have the felon, we have the mice, and we have the crossroads. And then I drew clarifiers, as you saw. So, first thing I'll say is he is absolutely thinking about his legacy, which is why he's trying to gold up the White House and tear down the columns and put the ones up that he wants and put a gate around everything and, you know, change everything in the Smithsonian to reflect history in the way that he wants it to be remembered. He thinks he wants to be remembered as the gift to this country. Notice I don't say a gift, I mean the gift. And he would like his flowers, preferably now, please, where he can still see them. And of course, he's not getting his flowers, not really. So he is absolutely thinking about mortality and his legacy. And because he's so kind of, I don't know, literal minded, he wants to leave behind a lot of stuff and his name on things, right? That will make us all say, "Oh, Trump was here." That's what he's fixated on. He's in the middle. He is simultaneously terrified about his legacy because much as he wants to be remembered as this man who, you know, ended all the wars and well, whatever. He, in his hearts, knows the truth. He's terrified about his future, meaning post-life future. And I don't mean just post-life as president. Post-life, he's worried about his post-life future. He's worried about also his legacy, what people will say about him when he's gone. He's really worried about that. And he's doing a lot of don't look over there, a lot of distraction. Look at all the shiny stuff I've done. He's trying to craft his legacy in a really, I don't know. The image that comes to my mind is of a toddler who's not yet very good at wielding crayon and certainly wouldn't know what to do with a fine-tipped pen, you know. But he is trying to do a lot of distracting, a lot of ruining of things. If things were on this path, he wants to move it over there so that he will be remembered. So here he is in the middle. Clarifiers are the birds, the house, and the garden. Again, yes, same thing. I love that Lenormand will say the same thing, but using different, quote, words or cards. So here he is pretty fixated on what people say about him, about what the gossip is, what the talk is, what people are saying, um, about his time in the White House. And this is the public. So he is really fixated on what the public thinks of him. Um, Again, this is a card for anxiety, worry, stress, sickness. I'm sure he doesn't feel well a lot of the time. And the clarifiers are stork, tower, and anchor. He is, he's sort of metaphorically tap dancing as fast as he can um, because this is his actual state. But he tries to make it better by appearing to be the strong man, the one in charge, the tough guy, you know. These are very fortifying kind of cards. So he tries to sort of build himself up by the words that he says about himself and his legacy or about the people he doesn't like. It kind of stiffens his spine and makes him feel not quite so weak and scared because that is ultimately his state. Uh, this attempt to distract, avoid, um, redirect. He's not very good at it. We have the clouds, the whip, and the letter. And where that's going to be borne out, the fact that this his griftiness, his showmanship, his carnival barker thing that he was so good at, giving people bread in circuses. Well, all we're getting is the circus. We're not getting the bread. But anyway, he's missing a step. It's a syncopated rhyme. He's off. He's off. And this tortures him because he knows it too. It's like if you can't think of a word and you're racking your brain because you know the word. Well, think of that on a grand scale. He knows he's losing his marbles. He's that metacognitive. He's aware, but he can't do anything about it. And you know, the letter, the most frustrating card in Lenormand because it could be anything. Um, Anything in writing. Now, I know he's meant to give an address on Thursday night to the he's going to preempt regularly scheduled programs for a prime time message to the country. And guess what the subject is? In case you don't already know. It's his relitigation of the 2020 election. Like, who cares? He does. So he's going to come with you know, receipts that are not really receipts, because with him they never are. And his intention in this broadcast on Thursday night is to sort of compel people, impel them, compel them, require them to give him his flowers, to praise him, to say, "Oh my God, you should have been president then. We should, that was rigged. You actually have been president 3 times, but the 2020 election got stolen from you." He's fixated on this, but it's only going to be read by people as more signs of dementia, and it's going to really start tongues wagging, certainly among Republicans, like, how long do we stay on this train? Of course, in the opinion of you and me, they shouldn't have ever been on the train in the first place. But at any rate, they are really starting to get scared, and even he can sense that. Um, this primetime address, I think that's what this is, on the teleprompter, is just sort of his sort of Hail Mary attempt to convince people that he is our once and current and future king who was robbed in the middle. I wouldn't watch it if I were you. You get the summary. Um, you know, why let your TV be counted among the audience who were watching him? I'm not going to watch it. So I think I don't think he cares about Graham or McConnell, except insofar as they are votes he does not any longer have. I think that's it. I don't think he's feeling any sadness, any concern for McConnell, for example, any sentimentality around his friendship with Graham. I don't think so. It's all about him and his legacy. And he's slipping. He's slipping, and he's slipping in front of the world. So I'll just leave that there. If you're looking for me tomorrow, I will be on Substack, but in written form. So go over there and subscribe if you're interested. It's a place where I use Lenormand as well as tarot as well as an African oracle called the Adinkra. And I never know what I'm going to write about, but I pull cards and the cards talk to each other and talk to me, and we have a conversation, and then I pretty much write it down. So, um, hope you go over there and check that out. Otherwise, I will be here Wednesday night as usual with Lena from Lena Down Under, our Australian friend, and we will be looking at what the week will have brought us so far and look to see what's coming in. And we don't use cards, it's a conversation that we have. So I hope you'll join us. That will be live, and that will be at on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and that's 9 p.m. Eastern. So I hope to see you in one or both places, and I hope you have a great Monday night. So take care.